Welcome back to the Daughters of the Moon podcast. We're grateful that you could join us for another week.
We sure are.
And we're going to do the March readings for you this morning and tell you what the energies that we're feeling for March are going to be for you. I've chosen three decks and we'll just step on each other and let you see where we go. So, the first deck that I chose, what the hell,
Go into the middle, and then yeah, right there,
is
forward.
Denise Linn Soul Coaching.
There we go.
Okay. And the card that I chose is
Yeah,
healing.
nice.
Okay. So I'll let
Okay,
you go first.
okay, healing. It's better in the middle, right in front of your face. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, I think what we're getting with that one there is when I see the fairies dancing together, I always love fairies. They give me such an inspiration of pulling in anything around me. And when I see them dancing like that, they talk about healing. And healing is a way of talking to yourself, or whether you're generating the energy around you to heal you by whether that's singing or dancing, but playfulness, something that brings you joy, because if you are trying to heal yourself or somebody else, you need to think about what joy that's either going to bring them or it's going to bring you. So when you're healing you, you want to think about the happiness that will come with it too. Like if you have a sore knee, which I have right now, if I do Reiki on it, while I'm doing my Reiki, I really generate a feeling of joy around it, so that I want that to feel that so much better, that I really want that feeling to go away of the pain. And I want to put all that beautiful joy and love back into my body. So healing to me is loving yourself, loving those who you're trying to heal or sending it out to, but also just being yourself and pulling it towards you is a form of healing. And there's so many colors in that card. It's beautiful, actually. I love that card. It really does show a nice rhythm. And once you have the rhythm of believing in what you want for yourself to heal yourself, then that just becomes easier, I think. Your turn.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. And sorry, everyone. Just seem to be having difficulties today. Um, yeah, so I agree with you. I think that healing really needs to be about bringing a lot of joy and love, like you said, into it, because I think the more joyful that we are in our hearts, the more that we're bringing in the healing for ourselves. And I think that when we're looking at healing, we need to think of it kind of like a dance, right? So when you have your sore knee, it's like it's a dance between you and the universe. And it's like, okay, but what is trying to tell me? Like, what am I afraid of moving forward with, And is it your right knee or is it your left knee? And, are we pulling into the feminine or masculine? And I think we need to be, taking it more lighthearted when we're thinking about that stuff. And as you know, I broke a blood vessel in my eye, and that was a question I asked myself was, okay, it was my left eye, and so that's my feminine side. So what am I not wanting to look at? And I think when we think of it in that way and a little bit more lighthearted instead of getting stuck into the, oh my God, something's wrong with me, it just brings a different kind of aspect to the healing that we can do. And I think that we need to be flowing, like you said, with the rhythm and just moving more and just really getting out there with that.
I totally agree with that. Like maybe I think with my knee, I've been carrying heavy things. And I think my feminine side is saying, like, whoa, woman, you know, you really have to do that. Like, you really have to pull back. And I think that's what we have to think about when we're healing ourselves. What is it that we're doing that's creating that problem for us? And how should we change that? If it's working in that, and maybe there's another way of working around it so you don't have to carry it as heavy, put on, I don't know, something that is easier to work with. But whatever it is that makes it easier so that you can heal yourself. And it's the same thing, I think, if you're healing your internal stuff, like your little girl inside or your child inside, the more that you're gentle you are with yourself, the more that you can heal anger and all those other things too, to make them go away. So I think that it all comes together with the rhythm of allowing ourselves to see our truths, our real truth about identifying what it is that's creating these problems that we're having.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think too with the fairies dancing like that too is really about bringing that joy and bringing that youthfulness and that little child, like you said, back into the picture. And when we're, if we can't heal ourselves, reaching out to healers and things like that, but go with somebody that really is dancing with you and bringing that fluidity with it so that you're not like we all want if you're going to work with a healer you want someone that matches you and your
Yes, you do.
vibration. So
You
I think
do.
that's important to know as well. And no, I love
And,
what you
and you
said.
rely on your gut because your gut will tell you if that's the right one for you too,
Yeah,
right? Because there's lots of people out there that heal in all different directions, all different ways. And we just have to find that one that agrees with us.
exactly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that. Okay, the next card is the Energy
Okay.
Oracle by Sandra Ann Taylor. And the card that came out is Contract.
So that's almost like a justice card as well,
Yeah,
right? So it's just saying that I think with that one too, balance. It's funny because Libra is the balance, right?
mhm,
And it just talks about when it does go with healing because if you don't balance yourself out in what you're doing on your everyday life, then everything becomes off balance. But if you're looking for justification on what you're trying to do, whether it be healing or working or something like that, if you don't have the balance inside and out, then it's not going to work for you. You have to learn how to sort of pause for a minute, think about what it is that you need to be going after to gain that balance so that you can justify what you're doing. Because you want to make sure that what you're doing is good for you and good for your soul, that makes you feel good too. Because with that, it's also a way of healing yourself because you're not working with something that's more than either you can do or you're not ready for that kind of step or too little. You're not going after the justifications of what you really need for yourself. So balance is really important with that, I find, in order to get the courage to move ahead and justify your ways you're going to do it and make it work for you.
yeah, I agree with you. And I think it's about making a contract with yourself too, and especially when it comes to healing. So we all want to heal that inner part of us or the shadow part of us. And we want to do that because it helps in the healing of our everyday lives. And I think if we don't kind of almost commit to that and make that contract with ourselves, we keep pushing it off or will, not be serious about it. So it's like, for myself, like with my blood pressure and things like that, it's like, okay, I need to be more active. I need to be eating some better foods. If I don't make that contract with myself to do those things, I'm just going to be like, yeah, maybe tomorrow. And, there comes a time when it becomes important and almost, life threatening if you don't make these contracts and move forward with that healing with yourself. So it's all about balancing it out. I think, with the justice, like you were talking, it's like balancing it out to, what is important and what is not important. And I think that March is really a time of reflecting on what is really important in your life and what do you need to put more energy into and what do you need to put less energy into.
Yeah, that is so true. I think too, it's been sort of an interesting winter all over the place. And I'm stepping outside of the box sort of here thing here. But March is going to be a time of we need to reflect on what we need. Because if we don't reflect on what we're bringing forward to us in this month of March, because we're not out of the danger zones of what's going to happen yet as far as weather and all kinds of different things this year. So I think that if you do make that contract with yourself, and to me, the contract with yourself is a promise. So promising yourself you're going to be doing something. But this seems to me be this for me anyway, is the year that we nearly need to start to step outside of our comfort zones and do something else that's compelling us to move forward, and quit procrastinating. Because when we stop procrastinating, this comes to Kim and I too real well. But then things can move forward. And I think that March is that month. It's going to be an unpredictable month to boot. So don't be afraid to heal yourself by making the moves you need to move now, because it's going to be a year that you're going to need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also getting that with it, like if you are signing any contracts in March, like you're renewing your mortgage or you're any kind of contract that you're signing on paper, you really need to make sure that you're reading it, reading the fine print, make sure that if you're not sure about what you're going into, that you're researching it before you sign that because you don't want to go in with blind faith on these contracts that you're signing. And I just feel it's really, really important because if you don't research it or go in with full knowing that there is going to be some things that will come back to kind of kick you in the butt. So I was picking that up as you were talking
As I was picking up.
there.
I agree. I agree that yeah, get all your ducks in a row, sort of thing. And it's interesting because I'm going to go back to the fairies. Like when you're seeing that, when you're going to see a kind of when you're signing a contract or doing something of a commitment form, think of yourself in that kind of rhythm. If the rhythm feels really good and it feels like a natural rhythm with the person that you're communicating with, or even the paper in front of you, it feels good, sign it. If the paper in front of you keeps blurring and you keep making mistakes on it, yeah, well, you need to second guess it or change some stuff in order to make it really what you need. Because that's also a way of healing your own mind if it feels good putting it down on paper. So,
Yeah, perfect. And the third one is The Whisper of the Ocean by Angela Hartfield.
pretty, eh?
That card is back on task. It says, be sure you are using your time in the best possible manner. You might consider reviewing your goals, your schedule, or a project you are working on. All could use some fine tuning. Not
Not
that that
laughing.
doesn't go with the other cards, but
Not only that, it really strikes us personally in our podcast too. Uh, you go, Kimmy, you can elaborate on that one first this time.
Okay. Well, all right. What I think with it is what it's saying is we need to get back on task. We so often make these contracts and things with ourselves about what we're going to do. And then, like you referred to in the last card, we start procrastinating on it and not doing the things that we're doing. We kind of, even though we know things are important, we kind of move them down our list because these other things kind of take over. And so it's really about looking at what the end picture is that you want to have and really getting yourself back on task to create these things. So for your own healing, as far as, taking care of yourself, going to the doctors, going to the dentist, going to your Reiki practitioner, whatever it may be, you need to be doing those. You need to be looking at the things like contracts in your life. Do you have the things that you need to do? Wills, what's going to happen when I pass? All of those kind of things. And then when it's, a business or things like that, and we're laughing because we were literally just talking about that before we got on of getting back on task to move these things forward in our lives and in our business. So it's really a reflection in March of how do I move this and make these contracts with myself and do the healing within myself to get back to where I need to be going.
True. I think too, even if you're not clear about where you want to be heading, you have a vague spot of where you might be going, follow it anyway. Because every time we break over that next loophole of, oh shit, what should we should do with this, or oh damn, this didn't do that right. But if we're perfecting it as we move along, then that ends, seeing the end of it becomes clearer and clearer and clearer to us of how we want to finish this off. Because it's like coming out of school, not knowing really what you want to be doing, but you have ideas. Okay. So it's saying follow those ideas anyways, because good or bad, they're going to tell you where you need to be heading. and whether you should drop it and not go with it anymore, or absolutely follow it, but maybe in another direction, what's going to make a difference, to bring more money to you or satisfaction to you. And because the first card was healing, I'm going to go back to that a bit, where we want to heal ourselves as we're moving along. So we're moving in the direction we should be going in. And we feel good about it all the time. I think that's part of it, is if we feel good about where we're traveling and how we're traveling, then we're going to make it there. If we don't feel good about it, if something's still giving us a leg, then maybe we need to change something at that point too. But I think March is going to be a time for sure, Kim. If you're going to be signing a contract, yeah, go with the one that feels good. If you're going to be making changes in your life, yep, if it feels good, do it. If you're thinking about selling your house and not sure if you should yet, maybe you should think about it. Go with what really feels good for you. Oftentimes, we have a tendency to say, the other person will say, yeah, well, I like that. What do you think? And you go, yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Where you should be going, no, it's not mine. But this is, because it's funny how you can alter and change other people's thoughts, just how you changed your thought to make it work in a different way. So, yeah, that's what I see for March too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I do too. I think with the fairies too, like you were saying, is, I think we need to in March bring back that joy and bring back that, you know, really when we're feeling into things, is it a hard no or is it a yes? And if it's a yes, lean into it and start just really letting your energy go there, like you were saying, and, just enjoying that time. And, we can remember that we're all connected. So call in these fairies or your angels or your divine source, what that may be for you, to help you out in these situations as well, because they will help. The more you tap into the divine source and those energies, the more you're going to be led to where you need to go with all of this.
Nice, Kim. I like that.
Yeah. So
Good summary.
it really is. So we hope you have a wonderful March and tune into the podcast. We have some great, great guests on this month, and we have a live coming up in March. So stay tuned for that, and we will see you next time.
You betcha.